Hi, everybody. Hello. It is Dante. Thank you for joining me. So let's see. Today is the 1st, January 1st, 2024. Obviously. If you've been following me or watching me so far, I've made a couple videos about healing, the healing journey, ascension, what is ascension to me, consciousness, and things like that. I think you've seen me do a card read. Let's see. So again, thank you for joining me. My goal here is to share my experience while also guiding and teaching, possibly educating. So try to be careful of what I say because I'm not exactly looking to put myself in any boxes. And what's funny is before I came on here, I was actually just looking at a post. And it was a post talking about, another term I don't want to use so much, but starseed. It's talking about starseed missions, awakening, new earth leadership. I love all of that. I just try to be careful in giving myself a name or a term because I've almost every time I do or think about that, I find myself essentially growing out of that. And I would never want to put somebody else or limit somebody else to a certain term, right? So in this post that I just saw, they were talking about what are those masks that we wear. And I'm not here to say that, anybody in the starseed or light worker community is wearing a mask. That's not my goal at all. It's more to sort of define what my purpose is here, while also communicating that my purpose and your purpose may be, expansive. It might cover multiple things. So one term is not going to work, right? So moving forward, again, thank you all so much for joining me, for, observing this content, taking it in. I keep using something that my teacher used to say. My teacher used to say, thank you for participating in your future. So in a funny way, I thank you for even being here and being present because it serves you in some way. Okay? So again, I've made, and I got my little notes right here. I made recent content on, healing, beliefs, where I'm at in this kind of ascension journey. Got some notes written here. Talked a little bit about low vibrations, low vibrational thoughts and things like that, and actions and beliefs. I have here written fear, guilt, shame, anger, separation, ego, identity, things of that nature are what we're calling negative. So where I'm at in my journey, it is the 1st. Again, thank you all so much for being here. The week between I almost want to grab my calendar, it's like right here, but the week between the last week of December and the 1st of January, I like to use this word limbo, and it could be anything. But ever since I kind of heard the word limbo, I was like, I like that, we'll use that. Also, before I filmed this video, I really wanted something to drink. My body was like, ooh, like I want a coffee, I want a caffeine, right? And I was like, no, stop doing that, because I drink a lot of caffeine. Well, not a lot, but it was a habit. So chamomile and lemon balm tea. Sorry, looking at it. Chamomile, which is really calming on your body. It's also good for digestion. I've been having some digestion upset, partially my doing. I also talk about that in some podcasts and other places. Basically diet, eating, stomach, you'll know what I'm talking about. Chamomile, not only calming for your body, your mind, but your actual digestive tract. Lemon balm, same thing. Lemon balm, jokingly, they call it nature's Xanax. Do you feel all wiped out and all woo? No, you literally feel calm. And you feel great. So this is my choice today out of my mason jar, because I didn't want to drink another coffee, right? So I keep looking at it because in tea there's usually nothing, like you don't really see much, but I'm seeing like a little bit of like oily filminess on top, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that I boiled this for like 5 minutes to kind of extract. So whatever's in the leaves, I'm drinking. So again, trying to keep a little bit of logic here. Previous videos, healing, my lived experience, my shared experience on what is healing, on what are, negative thoughts, negative beliefs, what do they look like, what are some examples of it. I love how I have these dated. They're dated like the 22nd and 23rd. Then we have a little bit of information on wounds, okay? Different kind of wounds. It was, less about the wound exactly. And I was reading this post and educating myself on the wound plus the way it shows up in your life, which was very, very helpful for me because I can be, reading about wounds, father wound, mother wound, and there's, a bunch. But it was like root wounds, root identity wounds. And I was like, whoa. So we have self-sabotage, needing validation, victim mentality, comparison, low self-esteem, okay? Self-doubt, avoidance, control, isolation, defensiveness, dependency. There's many wounds. I'm not here to throw anything at you or myself. But, when you start to educate yourself on these things and bring awareness, then you'll see where you fit in if you're experiencing any of these, okay? So again, we talked about wounds in another past video. Let's see. Then moving on really quick, I have this paper about inner child healing. We got all these notes and everything here. So I recently watched a video, and again, thank you. I will tag some of the other creators and other guides who have helped me. But thank you to everybody who's created content that's, and not just created content, but, even people like writers, people writing in books and things like that. It's also so helpful right now. So I have a little 4-step on what is inner child healing. And we have step 1, which is acknowledge and identify the wounds. That's what goes with this other page. What are the wounds and how they show up? Identify the self-limiting beliefs, because those kind of go hand in hand with the wounds. Accept them, and then accept that you want to change them. That's partially why I'm here right now. Because now it's in the past, I was deathly afraid. I like that word. Maybe there's a better word. But I was afraid, apprehensive, nervous. I say anxious, nervous about creating content, putting myself out there, putting my face out there, putting what I look like out there. Yeah, my hair's a little overgrown, but I had so many beliefs, and I was stuck in I'm over here about to read this whole fucking list, but I was stuck in overthinking, self-sabotage, needing validation, imposter syndrome, which is it's a identity wound, and these are tough. These are freaking tough. I've been through so much. I've been through so much where I didn't know myself. I wasn't aware of myself. I had to accept that. I had to accept what I went through that caused me to experience that. I had to accept, in a big part of trauma, abuse, or anything, your what are we gonna call it? Your mind-body complex, your body and brain together will block off stuff, tuck it away, so you don't have to experience it. So you don't have to experience the motherfucking crack of a hand hitting your face at 5 and 6 years old. Your brain says, I'm gonna put that away. But it's weirdly running you in the background. So you have to accept that you have these, really heavy, dark, responses to things. And one of my core responses was almost not knowing myself, not identifying with the things I like. Ooh, sorry, we're going deep. I had a core identity wound. I had a lot of self-doubt. Again, I won't gravitate and be stuck here. I'm not really sad. I'm just looking at it like the shit's hard. So maybe we'll take a minute and, I did this in the podcast and I did it in some other videos. But I did this kind of time exercise. It was fun. So maybe we'll start off by doing that. Not even start off, but, let's take a deep breath. About 10 minutes into this. And let's take a breath. Again, I'm fine. I'm not really, going through it or experiencing any heaviness, but with everything I touched on, I was like, you know what? Let's take a breath, right? So, just 1 second. So I don't want to say I sort of started the video with us breathing, but I could have started with kind of like a check-in and a breathing. And then I do want to say this because we're kind of jumping around. I'm jumping around. In my other videos, I talked about the concept of love, of you and I being loved, the concept of protection, you being protected and essentially looked out for. And again, in a previous video, because I don't want to get into all of it right now, I did this kind of exercise activity, and it was like for fun, but it helps me, where we take a breath right now. I've got 11 minutes, 25 seconds on the clock. Take a breath right now. Think or decide something, right? Think, and I want to say think or decide, but we're going to say, are you loved and protected? I'm going to say yes. I'm not going to say no. So are you loved and protected? Yes. Okay, let's take a breath or two. Let's, wait. Let's wait for some time to pass. It's really weird because, nothing's happening. But okay, cool. So between whatever I said a minute ago and right now, some time has passed, right? So it's funny, but if you get it, you get it. Are you still loved and protected? Yes. What changed? Nothing. Cool. Great. Moving on. I don't want to say cool, great, moving on, but I myself am trying to remind myself of that. And I myself find it helpful to do that kind of little funny activity to remind you and me that nothing has changed since the moment you were born, in that being loved and protected. And that doesn't change. We as humans, as people, might lose sight of it and not believe it, but I'm believing that. And again, it doesn't change with the passage of time, past, present, and future. We're loved and protected, period. Okay? So whenever you need, take that breath, take that moment to yourself, remind yourself of that, ask yourself where you're at, where your thoughts at, and see if you can bring it back to, something along those lines, something along the lines of, I am safe, I am at peace, Okay. This tea is actually really good, by the way, y'all. Some lemon balm and chamomile. It's kind of earthy, kind of minty, kind of sweet, while also not being like any of them. It's, sorry, I'm just looking at the little stuff at the bottom, little flowers. So we had root wounds, and the reason, now making sense, the reason I wanted to get into that little activity and reminding that you're protected and loved, because when we're bringing up these wounds, I had to accept myself, and I had to love myself and forgive myself. The healing journey is really hard because you can kind of, and I really beat myself up for a long time in identifying these wounds, in how can I get over it, and still, doing certain things, certain habits. So when I bring up this wounding, and we can explore that further, and I can give more insight into the wounding and how we act, essentially, out of this identity that we formed in pain and for protection, right? That's kind of what the wounds are. They're not really us. Because when you were born, when you came here, whether you think of yourself as an angel or child of God, whatever, I don't care. You're innocent. You're innocent. You have dreams. You have, whether it's, we're looking at a baby, but this baby has a whole life, right? And unfortunately, we go through so many things in those first couple years of life that change us. But at your core, you are still that child. You are still that happy, innocent, positive, optimistic child. And the goal through all of this is not to get rid of the bad. The idea is to integrate your shadow, is to integrate this heavier, darker part of you that's unconscious. And for some of us, maybe running our life. And again, I'm kind of jumping around. Healing can be called shadow work also. We can also call it inner child healing. We could also call it, trauma work, trauma awareness, trauma, therapy. Not therapy, but they're all very similar. What I'm explaining, okay? So let me take a breath really quick, kind of focus and center myself. So we have the wounds. We have healing. What does healing look like for everybody? We have identifying things within ourselves that we maybe don't like or are doing negatively. On the podcast, I talked about, being unconscious, being in the shadow self, being in the ego, being in a separation, a hurt identity. And that's not really our true identity. So as you do this healing and you kind of uncover yourself and peel back, depending on your journey, but it's almost inevitable that you're going to find yourself and what you really like and appreciate as you peel back those layers and as you take off these masks. And again, I mean this all lovingly. I'm not here to tell you or anybody that you're wounded in wearing masks. But when we look at it and we have to kind of, I don't want to say get real, but be real with ourselves. Yeah, I had to be real with myself. Was I experiencing these things? Yes. Was I experiencing fear, guilt, shame, anger, separation, and the list goes on? Yes. Who's going to fix that for me? Yeah, love Jesus, love God. He ain't going to come down in your brain or heart and, ooh, you're better now. I mean, yes, pray, do the work. Yes, right. Yes, do so much. But that's, again, you doing the work because you decided you wanted different, right? And so what would God want if he created a bunch of, I don't want to say created, but, we have free will. Wouldn't be God's game if he was just driving us. So at any waking moment, any opportunity, you have the choice to begin, I don't want to say come back, but to begin to heal, to begin to have that awareness and to begin to steer your ship back to, right? Because at no time are you, given up or thrown away. At no time are you, I'm done with this one, Yeah, people go and souls move on in the journey and everything, but I don't think God is waking up like, you're done. You're done. When you wake up and you have another day, that's actually your blessing. That's actually your opportunity to correct your mistakes. That's actually your opportunity to be better. I have written right here, I believe I am capable. I believe I am excellent. I believe I am something special. I believe I can change if necessary. And that last one, I can change if necessary, because I was very, very fearful that, I would be stuck this way or stuck anyway. And I actually said, remind yourself that you have the power to change. And that in itself is a power. To observe, acknowledge, release, rewire, integrate. Those are the little inner child healing steps we have. Acknowledge, release, rewire, and integrate. Again, thank you all so much for being here. I've made a couple other videos. Feel free to check them out. In those other videos, I direct you to my best, I don't communicate with her, but my best friend, my best guide, Earth 1111. Her name is Roxanne. She explains so much of these concepts: healing, ascension, energy work, the nature of our reality. She explains it like a pro because she is. But true mastery of the subject is the ability to teach it simply, and not just simply, but like effectively, right? So Roxanne, among so many other guides, teachers, leaders stepping up right now, I appreciate and admire you so much. You've been an example for me and others, and y'all know how it goes. It takes not only bravery, but an open and caring and sensing heart to truly do this kind of work, to not only want to guide others, but essentially guide yourself back home and be vulnerable and be open and honest and real. And I'm not gonna say I'm trying to do that, but I am doing that. I'm here to do that. It feels interesting, but it does feel good. It feels right. It feels like me versus me, which so much of inner growth and ascension can feel like me versus out there, or me versus something, or when will the world be at peace? Why is this stopping me? It's and I'm not here to say everything's my fault, no, but it became me versus me, not me versus the grocery store and their options. It became me versus me. So now I'm here trying to not judge myself for where I'm at, because that judgment is coming from a place of I'm not good enough, or maybe I have some more work to do there to be clear on it. But I understand that there's growth, learning, and mistakes, but rather than focusing on those, I'm choosing to focus on forward movement, forward progression. I'm trying to say this carefully. I'm not trying to move forward blindly, but I'm not here to focus on my shortcomings and downcomings and things like that. Thank you get me. So again, we're on the 1st of the month. I'm gonna grab you my calendar. I was gonna shout out the calendar I'm using. It's Dollar Tree, but go get you a calendar, even if it's from Dollar Tree. I'm over here, Tropical Island. Don't play with it. I've got a good ass year coming up. Come on, vision board. I love islands. Okay, so we have January with our Tropical Island. Wonderful. Okay, and here we have the 1st. That's where we're at. That's where you're at. So, I took the steps to create some content, a podcast. I have it on my list somewhere to, sorry, somebody texted me. I have it on the list somewhere to, publish the podcast, to go forward with that. So, 1st of the month, we're creating content, we're healing, we're eating better. I threw in my vape yesterday, or last night, or this morning, or some shit. So yeah, I appreciate any and all for watching. This is me, Dante Miguel. Call me either one. Last night I also did I guess some spells, some energy work, some witchcraft. Not even. I burned a green candle with some oils and herbs that I've mixed together. Those oils and herbs are reflective of money. Okay. So green representing money in a way, abundance. Think about green, a green forest. Think about things that are green, a rich green. So I then burned that candle. I expressed gratitude to the universe. I said thank you. I then burned a white candle. The white candle was for connecting to my ancestors and spirit guides, but the white candle was also somewhat of a road opener and kind of a self-love. I have my somewhat love potion here. Yes, so we've got honey, chamomile, some salt, I think some crushed rose petals, and there's a pink crystal in there. There's a pink crystal. I want to say a rhodochrosite. I'm looking for it. So honey for sweetness, the oil to be a carrier, chamomile for kind of self-love, also a little bit of sweetness, salt to take away negativity, and things, things of that effect. So I rubbed the candle with this honey oil to not only show like self-love to myself, but somewhat express it to my ancestors and to my life. Again, it was a white candle, which can symbolize purity, cleansing, but for me it symbolized somewhat blessings and cleansing at the same time. I then burned some incense. I made some spiritual blue water. Okay, and if you don't know about this, there's it comes from the concept that color holds vibration. Okay, and essentially you're using like a blue dye, but the blue dye has such a rich color frequency of blue. Trying to see if it's all dissolved. The blue then, the color and the deep, rich hue of the blue becomes a protecting and dispelling negativity, okay? I also have this blessed with oil. Thank you. So I have one that I use and that I'm working with, that I cleanse items with, okay? So what I will do is I will cleanse the candles in the blue water, the spiritual blue water, to prepare the candles in preparation, right? Now, secondly, many people have just plain water on their altar. I'm choosing to do a blue anil, whatever we want to call it, a protective water. This one is an actual offering. I won't touch this, well, as I am now. I won't mess with it. This is an offering to the ancestors. Moving on, I do have an apple. Okay, this is something new that I'm doing, where I'm trying to give something of actual physical that holds energy. It's an apple, it's essentially living. So that is on my altar. I know people who do maybe breads, foods. There's, again, no right or wrong. What I'm doing is I'm developing a practice here. Okay, so again, with the sacred space, with the candles, with the blue water and the apple, that together represents not only offerings, but a display of my work and the direction that my work is going. Okay, so I did this last night to somewhat welcome in the new year. Okay, I am going to do some other things to call in abundance, to work with abundance. Essentially, the interesting part about spells or witchcraft or whatever we might want to call it is this: it's essentially a way of working with the universe, like, I don't want to say directly, but in a way directly. So while one may call in or pray or ask for it, that's useful, one could also arrange things of nature, of physical nature, right, in a way to represent something of a spiritual nature. So the kind of more wordy way to say that is, what did they call it? Energetic equivalent. We're getting a little bit wordy here, but which with witchcraft, energy work, and ding ding, alchemy and transmutation and things like that, there's like a deeper level, a deeper layer of energy work that comes with what we're trying to create in the physical. So to say that simply, if you or I would like to create something of increased monetary value in our life, more money, we take steps in the physical. And what kind of witchcraft is creating essentially an equivalent to that to somewhat call that in, to bring that energy into your life. So similarly with the green candle, the oils and the synergy meaning working together, of the herbs and the oils, you are displaying or telling the universe essentially, hi, these things represent X. I am bringing these things together to maybe represent more than, than just the green candle and the herbs. It's the synergy of them together that are representing the energy of the green, rich abundance flowing into your life in a way. Now, yeah, it's woo-woo. You can sit back there and just, I don't know, wish and do nothing. Let me know how that goes for you. Yes, I'm checking my phone. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Again, go watch my other videos if you like, where I share a little bit about healing, a little bit more in depth into what I've experienced and learned. Again, this was somewhat of an update where I'm at, but also, trying to educate everybody and share some insight and some good energy. I'm gonna be moving forward on this track of creating content, being myself, removing this mask. I wish you all the best. Feel free to communicate with me, like, subscribe, share, find me on Instagram, and let's do this. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of your week. Again, Happy New Year, and take care.